Welcome to Augusta National Golf Club, where the morning story so far is the weather. But soon, it will be the golf. Overnight rains push the first tee time from 8 a.m. to 10:30. However, the skies are clearing and conditions are improving. We are happy to report there's a full day of major championship golf ahead. The first tee shots are on the way soon. It's opening day at the Masters.
The first tee is definitely more nerve-wracking than any first tee shot.
The feeling, the atmosphere you get around here is unlike anywhere else.
You have fans on both sides, 50 people deep.
It's a special situation on that first tee.
You kind of get the first tee jitters and a little bit of nerves.
You're anxious to get going.
A little bit more eagerness just to hit the first tee shot.
It's a dream come true to be able to stay on that tee.
The quest for Augusta glory begins on the first tee.
Four, please. Now driving.
On cue, the mind is transported to a kaleidoscope of Masters memories.
Yes, sir. The return to glory. A life changer. What a comeback.
The green jacket is 4 life-changing rounds away. But the first shot feels heavier, weighted by pressure and prestige.
Crowds around you.
And your name's announced.
Four, please.
And then it just goes dead silent.
You can't hear a thing.
A lot of thoughts go into your head.
There's a green jacket on the line.
A new year brings new contenders. All 89 men who stand at the first tee this week will fight their instinct to dream. Childhood visions of slipping into their very own green jacket flicker through their head. Before them, 72 holes that will test every ounce of their physical and mental abilities if they are to call themselves Masters champion. It's the opening round of the 88th Masters, and the honor is yours. Welcome to Masters on the Range. We are live at Augusta National Golf Club, where play is set to officially begin less than 2 hours from now with the honorary first tee shots at 10 minutes after 10. The rain that has fallen overnight and this morning will only add to the vibrant colors and challenge this legendary golf course presents. This wet weather is passing, and ample sunshine and warm temperatures lie ahead. Hello again from Augusta, Georgia. The radar has improved dramatically the last couple of hours. While there's still the chance of an isolated shower or storm in the near future, things do look promising, and the folks here at Augusta National Golf Club will take every measure for patron safety, player safety, and competition integrity in the event of any more inclement weather. Temperatures bottomed out at 68 degrees today, with it slated to peak somewhere in the mid-80s later this afternoon. The winds that accompany this system will become a factor throughout the rest of the day, averaging somewhere between 10 and 20 miles per hour, but we could see gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour. The silver lining is that the sunshine will be the staple for the rest of the weekend. Great to be with you. I'm Kelly Tillman, alongside the host of Course Record on CBS, Michael Breed, PGA Master Professional Brian Kroll, and Amanda Balionis with us as well. Brian and Michael, good morning to you. This really is good news, because we thought for a while, the last day or so, that play would be pushed into the afternoon hours to get things started. We have a morning start in the 88th Masters.
Yeah, it looked like those players that were teeing off sort of afternoon were going to have a very long day on Friday, Brian, but this weather, and you can get a look at it, it's not quite as bad as they had thought, and it appears, particularly if you're Tiger Woods teeing off at 124 originally, now postponed to nearly 4 o'clock, you're going to get a lot of holes in, which is going to make a tough turnaround, but at the same time, it will not be as grueling a Friday as it could have been.
Yeah, I think this is a good luck symbol for Tiger Woods. It'll get him some golf in today, of course, and it's a good luck symbol for all the patrons and everyone here at Augusta National to be able to see some great golf on Thursday without too many umbrellas and towels. A big challenge, though, as these players change their preparation, change their routines. I figured all the caddies would be running for extra gloves and Ziploc bags and towels and umbrellas to prepare for this day, but luckily we're avoiding a lot of that, and it's going to be a nicer set of conditions for us.
You can still see some pockets of yellow and slight bits of orange and red in the vicinity. We do have a lightning strike recorded in the area, not too far away, just in the last couple of moments, so we're keeping an eye on things. But as mentioned, we've expected this kind of weather, and hopefully things will clear soon, and we will see really wind becoming the story after all of this rain. And how does this affect play in round one?
Well, I mean, look at the gusts up to 40 miles an hour. This is going to change the trajectory that the players are going to play at. Certainly, in order for you to be able to get the golf ball close to the hole with your irons, you're going to have to negotiate that. And Brian, trajectory is such an important part of success here, iron play trajectory in particular. When you start trying to get that ball to stay close to where it touches the green first, it has to be coming in from a high apex with a steep descent angle at 40 miles an hour of gusts. You're going to play a totally different, you're going to play at a different apex.
Absolutely. Different trajectories today, and we talk about the advantage for the players who can approach these greens with a very, very high approach shot, and now they've perhaps got to keep it under the wind, and not only does that change their landing spots, but we've got moister conditions, and the ball reacts a little differently. So a lot of strategy is going to go into today and probably early tomorrow as well.
You cannot be a one-dimensional golfer and expect to call yourself a major champion. You have to have all of the assets, and they will be tested, especially over the next couple of days. The last official shot struck in a Masters tournament, we're dating you back to last Sunday, April 9th, on the late Seve Ballesteros' birthday. A Spaniard won his first green jacket. Jon Rahm becoming the fourth Spaniard in history to do that, behind Seve, Jose Maria, and Sergio, who also won on April 9th. Rahm now trying to join Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods as back-to-back Masters champions. It's a tall order, but if anyone's up to it, it just might be this man playing alongside a U.S. Open champion in Matt Fitzpatrick and Nick Dunlap, who won as an amateur on the PGA Tour earlier this season, the first to do that since Phil Mickelson in 1991. He has since turned professional. They'll be out at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. All eyes on Jon Rahm. It's been a very busy week for him as a defending champion. He says people are looking at him differently now in a positive way, obviously. He hosted a champions dinner where he said he temporarily blacked out. He was so nervous giving his speech. It takes a mental toll. Where is he mentally right now?
Well, that's a wonderful question, right? Because you come in here as a Masters champion, and you feel like you're on top of the top of the heap, and yet at the same time, you've made the decision to leave one tour and go to another tour. And how are you received? Not by the players, but by those around the game. And so all of a sudden, it's a question of uneasiness, Brian, that I know has been something that he's talked about. The question now is, can he navigate this and erase all that nonsense that's on the outside and just stay in his mind?
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is awkward. It's a little confusing these times for Jon Rahm as a defending champion. You want to focus on coming back and repeating, and this is a great look at Rahm yesterday as he was here on the tournament practice facility.
What's his coach, Dave Phillips?
What are they looking for? What is the goal on a Wednesday as he readies for a title defense?
They might be working on some shot shapes. They might be looking at, hey, these are the approaches that we're going to see on holes 13 or 15. So he might be working on holding it up against a slope, or just working on a feel. You're likely on a Wednesday morning, you've likely, and here particularly with the par 3 contest Wednesday afternoon, you've likely been on the golf course on Monday and Tuesday. You've gotten a look at maybe a new tee that has been added at number 2. You've maybe seen some new green complexes, and you kind of feel like you've done your homework. And now this is the time where, Brian, you're thinking about what are the shots that you're going to need, and possibly working on hitting some higher shots, lower shots, cuts. They've looked at the weather, no question.
Yeah, you're right. I think at this time yesterday, where Rahm was on the practice facility, they certainly were aware of the forecast and wanted to get some work done when conditions were beautiful. But Rahm is familiar with conditions not being beautiful, and I do think his game is suited for difficult conditions, perhaps more than most. A lot of ability to keep the ball low. He keeps his hands forward. He makes beautiful contact in awkward conditions.
Pretty fast ball speed there for a 3-wood, 172 miles an hour. There's a good look at Jon Rahm in the address position, hands forward, good full rotation, late bend of the arm. Look at the width that he has there, Brian. Body rotation is great, doesn't have a lot of arm run away, and of course we're well aware of the wrist position.
And you can see how those hips had already started toward the target as he was moving back. And look at this, the delivery of those hands through impact, well ahead of the ball, even with a fairway wood. He just has this beautiful way of sweeping through the ball, even with the longer clubs. Just assures clean contact.
And we've talked about this the past few days. Watching these players, Jon Rahm now as we watch him, but watching these players start in the practice area behind the golf ball and then come in as if they're on the golf course hitting the shot. They're not pulling those balls in and just hitting shot after shot after shot. They'll organize their mind. They'll organize what they visualize. And that's exactly what he's doing right there. And then, of course, step into the ball that way. A really valuable lesson for those of you that are trying to improve your game. Don't just hit ball after ball after ball. Organize your thoughts before you get into it.
And one of the things we see here, a very, very high tee height from Rahm. And this is an indication that he's trying to swing up through impact a little bit and try and get that ascending blow into impact, which is very, very effective for driving the ball. That tee height might shorten a bit as the winds increase here later today.
Well, what did this major mean to the last 5 winners of the Masters tournament? It's the 15th major for Tiger Woods, a 5-time Masters champion. The second for Dustin Johnson, who captured a U.S. Open at Oakmont. Hideki Matsuyama, of course, the man from Japan, winning for the first time in 2021. Scottie Scheffler broke through for his first 2 years ago in dominant fashion as world number 1. Just a handful of men have won their first Masters as the reigning world number 1. He's hoping to do that again this week. And Jon Rahm, it was his second as well. Also a U.S. Open champion, his coming at Torrey Pines just a couple of years prior to that. This was something that I thought was very neat that we pointed out yesterday. Jon Rahm's ball is in the fairway before Hideki Matsuyama finishes his golf swing.
Yeah, this is really an indication of tempo and rhythm, Michael, and there are many ways to get it done. Hideki certainly has a much longer and that pause at the top. Jon Rahm much quicker, both at .63 here along their swing sequence, but the timing certainly changes.
Well, and Rahm's at the top of his swing, and Hideki is sort of halfway back, and now you can see when Hideki gets to the top of his swing, Rahmbo has already gone through the shot, and that too is also an indication of the length of the swing as well. So you're talking about a number of things that create the proper rhythm and tempo for each individual, and it is individualistic.
Nearly half the time for Jon Rahm. He could hit 2 shots in the time it takes Hideki Matsuyama to hit 1.
Well, for years, Ernie Els was the poster PGA Tour player, global player for swing tempo, swing easy, like the Big Easy. When you're trying to tell a youngster taking up the game to focus on tempo, and they see a guy like Jon Rahm dominating, how do you explain that to them?
Well, it's the misunderstanding of the term tempo, right? Everybody has their own tempo. Jon's is obviously faster than Hideki's. It'll be faster as well than Ernie Els or Freddie Couples, but you've got to find the tempo that works best for you.
Great look here at Jon Rahm with, again, that fairway wood from earlier, and we get to see the club shaft at address. Now, this is going to speak to our point earlier, Michael, about where his hands are at impact. further forward, even with a fairway wood. You think of that with irons and wedges, but even with a fairway wood, he is sweeping those hands well ahead of the ball before it gets struck.
And it also speaks to the difference between what address looks like and what impact looks like. So many people think that what you're trying to do when you come back to impact is to come back to where you were at address. That is not the case. As we take a peek at all of Jon Rahm's tee shots
from the tournament practice area and how they would apply to the first tee, Michael. And he is a prolific fader of the golf ball, but you've seen him work in a number of ways. Which one obviously will come in best here?
Well, right there, all of them fit.
Which one would you take out of the 6 that we see?
All of them.
Okay. I'll take the closest one to the hole, I'm just saying. All right, well, great news. Play will be underway soon in the 88th Masters. Keep it right here as players soon enter the practice area.
That was fun.